Okay, the last time I talked about the first of the 8 dangers to the mind that we asked Tara to help us with, and that was the lion of pride. So the second of the 8 dangers to our mind is called the elephant of ignorance. Now, this ignorance that we're talking about is the ignorance of not knowing the law of karma, of cause and effect, the 4 truths, which is the 4 noble truths, and the virtues of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. It causes all of the afflictions and destructive emotions to arise, which is another way of describing samsara, which is why we asked Tara to help us from it. In the Dzogchen teachings, ignorance is said to be the failure to recognize our true nature. So this is the ignorance that keeps us in samsara, and it's huge, which is why it's represented by an elephant, which is the largest living land animal. So we request Tara's assistance to help tame our mind. So, not tamed by the sharp hooks of mindfulness and vigilance, dulled by the maddening liquor of sensual pleasures, it enters wrong paths and shows its harmful tusks. The elephant of ignorance, please protect us from this danger. What this request is about is asking Tara to help us calm our mind so that we can focus on what's important. In order to get out of samsara, we need to have a calm mind so that it can focus on recognizing wisdom, realizing emptiness. Single-pointed concentration on emptiness is the way to realizing emptiness and to help us attain Buddhahood. But our mind right now is not like that at all. So we use mindfulness and vigilance to help to tame the mind, which is like a large, mad elephant rampaging out of control. It gets angry, it's not satisfied. Think of a very large elephant who is mad, has no control over itself. Now put that elephant into a crowd and watch it rage around. This is what our mind is like when it's out of control. Can you see how others can get hurt by it? When our mind is out of control, it gets us into all kinds of trouble. We don't focus on long-term benefits, but focus only on the intoxicants we can get of this life in the here and now. This can lead us to do unethical actions to get this pleasure, which includes harming others. It leads us away from the path to awakening. But if we use mindfulness and vigilance, we can protect ourselves and others from this unruly, obnoxious, huge beast, which is our mind. We can tame and harness this energy to help us proceed along the path. We must keep reminding ourselves of what is important in using mindfulness. We use vigilance to constantly check to see where our mind is and if it's going in the right direction. The Buddha taught meditation as a foundation to becoming awakened. Trying to meditate when our mind is rampaging all over the place like a wild elephant is impossible. Concentration is a powerful state of mind, able to control mental activity and the arising of afflictions. That's what we want to do. That's called taming the elephant. The mental factor of concentration is already present in our minds, although it is vastly undeveloped. And concentration is a prerequisite to attaining liberation. Concentration is a part of serenity, and serenity, united with insight into selflessness, uproots the causes of samsara. It enables us to develop virtuous qualities, integrate Dharma understanding with our mind, and attain the super knowledges which are essential to benefit others most effectively. If we are serious about actualizing the path, practice of concentration is a must. It ensures uninterrupted attention and mindfulness on the objects and produces mental tranquility. When combined with wisdom, such a mind brings deep realizations. This is very different from our usual distracted mind that sees only superficially and is often afflictive. Probably most of the time is inflicted. So the elephant of ignorance. It's powerful, yet out of control. A mad elephant terrorizes all in its path. It destroys crops cultivated with much care and endangers the lives of many. At the same time, uncontrolled emotions which stem from ignorance lead us to become involved in many unethical actions in daily life. When we sit down to meditate, our mind is unable to focus and runs crazily from one object to another. This occurs because the ignorant mind has not been subdued by mindfulness and vigilance. Yeah. These are mental factors that hook it, and they remain focused on what is important if you use them properly. If you want to talk about ethical behavior, which we're going to talk about, mindfulness is aware of the guidelines with which we want to live, and vigilance checks us to see that we are living within them. In the context of meditation, mindfulness remembers the object of meditation so that our concentration can remain on it and is not distracted by another object. Vigilance investigates whether our mindfulness is active or whether distraction or dullness has set in, interfering with our meditation. When our mind is intoxicated by ignorant attachment to sense pleasures, we do whatever is necessary to procure the pleasure or advantage we seek, even if this entails piercing others with our tusks of flagrant harm. Elephants. In addition, ignorance takes us down the wrong path that leads us to more confusion and suffering instead of awakening. So we petition Tara for protection. When we do this, we're calling forth our own powers of mindfulness and vigilance. Like a wise elephant tamer who skillfully knows how to subdue a wild elephant and harness its energy for constructive purposes, these two mental factors lead us to a nonviolent lifestyle and deep concentration. Mindfulness is developed by repeatedly calling our ethical guidelines and our meditation object, and vigilance arises from frequently observing, what is my mind focused on? What's going on in my mind? When our mind is focused on something conducive to the path, vigilance lets it be. If we are distracted to sense pleasure, preoccupied with worry, or burning with anger, vigilance calls for the appropriate antidote to be applied to calm whatever ignorant emotions plague us at that moment. Mindfulness and vigilance help us to tame this elephant of ignorance by helping us to tame our uncontrolled mind so that we can achieve our long-term goal of becoming awakened as soon as possible for the sake of all sentient beings. So that's how we help to tame this elephant of ignorance.